This tutorial will help you with how to work within ALEKS after you have taken your first initial knowledge check. So this is the screen that you will see after you answer, I believe it's 30 questions, so that the ALEKS system can see where you are at with your learning. And once you have taken that initial knowledge check, this is the screen that you will see. This is your pie chart. The goal is at the end of this class, this whole entire chart will be completely filled with color. So after you take your test, this is showing you how much you know out of a whole class that you're going to learn within this semester here. The next thing I'd like to point out is over here on the side. Okay, so right over here, this tells you that on February 23rd, that is when your first ALEKS big assignment is due. Now keep in mind, each week you have 3 hours to spend in ALEKS. Okay, so you have your 3 hours that you're spending. So you're getting 10 points every week if you go into and log into ALEKS and do some homework. So you're getting 10 points each week. Then you have 100 points that you're going to earn a grade from based on what percent of the problems are done. So this over here tells us that this student here has, based on the tests they took when they first started ALEKS, it's called an initial knowledge check, they only came into my class knowing 10 topics out of 106. So these 106 topics that are due February 23rd, some of them are going to be review topics that you should already know. I think about 75 topics you should already know, like fractions and decimals. So if this number right here is not close to the 70s, that means you have some catch up to do. So this person here, there's 106 topics due. They've already learned 10. So if I subtract that, that means that they have 96 topics left to do by February 23rd. So what I encourage you to do is when you're done with your test, is see what this number is for you. Then subtract it from 106. And today, let's say, is January 22nd. If it's due February 23rd, if we count how many days that is, we would get 33 days. So this particular person, after you take the 10 off, has 96 topics to do in 33 days. So if we take 96 and we divide it by, we have 33 days left until the first test. 96 divided by 33. This number here tells us how many topics we should do every single day until February 23rd if we want to have 100% for homework. If we want to get as many of those topics done as possible. So this would be a good goal, 3 a day for this person. You want to round up. So I wouldn't do 3 a day, I would do more than 3, but you don't want to ever go a day without doing at least 3. So 3 per day, that is our goal. So again, to recap here, we have 10 points we're earning every week for spending 3 hours. So you need to spend at least 3 hours. But if this number here is high, the amount of problems you have to do in the 33 days is high, then you are going to have more than 3 hours to spend. So at minimum, everyone in this class has to spend 3 hours. You'll get 10 points for homework for doing that. If you only spend 2 hours instead of 3, you'll still get points, but you won't get the full 10 points. And then the other grade you will earn is based on how much of this is done. All right, so now that we understand what this over here tells us, Let's go ahead and see what happens when we click continue my path. When we click continue my path, it means I'm ready to start doing some homework problems. So if we look here, it asks us, it tells us to add. If we need an explanation, there's explanations here. And so let's say we do -1 plus -5, and that is -6. And then 5 plus 4, we get 1. We would go over here and click check, and it tells us it's correct. Now notice over here, it gave us a green bar. Once this whole entire thing is filled up, that tells us we have learned that topic. So then I click next. Now I'm going to do this one. Then I'm going to click check. And I got it right. Now notice they gave me 2 bars. Even though I just only answered 2 questions, now I have 3 total bars. Because I got 2 right in a row, ALEKS thinks, wow, I really must understand this topic. So now I'm going to answer another question. So now I'm going to get this wrong. So I get the problem wrong and they give me the answer. Now notice I lost one of these bars here. So now I'm going to say recheck it. Or I could have asked for an explanation. So if I get something wrong, I can ask for an explanation here. I can now click continue. Okay, now I get it. And now I enter in my answers here and click check. Now I got another green bar. I didn't get 2 because I didn't get 2. I got 1 wrong in between. Now I'm going to answer another question. And now notice I'm going to get 2 green bars because I got 2 right in a row. And now I'm going to get this one right. And now I have the whole thing completely green. And now what happens is it says good. Okay, so good, we practiced that problem and got the whole bar filled up. Now, if you click right up here, okay, this is called a carousel because it moves. You can click this arrow here and you could see a bunch of different topics in this class. So let's go back to the beginning. Now notice this says whole numbers and integers. Integer subtraction. Well, you should know how to subtract before this class. So at the corner over here, you will notice that there's no symbol here. What that means, if you click here to do this problem and click start, that you want to do this problem, when you solve these problems, 3 minus 7 is -4. -2 minus 2 is -4. When you're doing these problems and filling this up, it does not count. If I go back to the home screen and you remember this number that we have here, notice that it still says 10 like it said before. It didn't go up to 11 because that topic that we did was negative and positives, and that is a prereq to this class. So for this number to go up to 11, what you need to do, let's go back to homework, continue my path. What you need to do when you go up here is you're allowed to select different problems. Again, notice this doesn't have a symbol there, neither does this one. But if I scroll over, notice that this problem here has this diamond here looking thing, and it says goal topic. So if I solve this problem right here, so if I click there, read the explanation if you need it. If you don't need the explanation, you'll click start. If I solve these problems, which I'm going to pause the video and do that so you can see. Okay, so I went through and I'm solving these here and I paused the video. So now I have the whole thing completely green. So now I'm going to click next and it says, keep it up. It looks a little different. Notice over here, now it says that instead of needing 96, remember that number that we got earlier? This 96 number that we figured out at the beginning of the video, now it says that we only need 95. 95 here. So let's recap there. For that number, for you to get credit on your homework, you need to do the ones that when you click this little triangular thing here, the ones that have this symbol here. However, ALEKS wants you to do these problems because you can't do some of the math we're doing in this class if you don't know how to multiply and you don't know how to subtract. So you might end up having to do these problems. But what I want you to know, that if you are worried about how come I keep doing all this math and this number is still a 10 right here, that I still have 96 left, it's because you might, if you came into this class maybe a little rusty, you might have more problems to do that are not. So there's 106 topics that are Math 092 topics, and there might be some that you have that aren't, so that's why it's not increasing this 10 right here, this 10 number. So you might have to do these problems for practice, but again, you might not see the number increase. Then you'll notice this locked button. That means that if you click on it, it will say you can't do this because you need to do something to the left. So you might have to do these problems. Your number may not go up, but you have to show that you understand the simpler math content before you could do this one that's locked. So this one's locked for this student, but this one's not. So I can go and click on this one because I've demonstrated I know enough to do this problem here. All right, next let's click this little tab button and let's see what comes up here. I don't believe you're going to be using this tab or this one, but the calendar one here, you'll see that there's nothing due in ALEKS for a grade in January. Keep in mind that means you're doing stuff, you're doing homework, but there's nothing actually due. There's no deadline. So if we go to February, you'll notice this little symbol right here. Looks like a clock. That means that your first 3 hours that are due, you have to spend 3 hours each week, is not due until February 7th. So from February 7th to February 14th, you need to spend 3 hours, and then you need to spend 3 hours more. And then on February 23rd, we talked about that all of that homework is due. Now, because this week is the first week of class and I don't have any homework due for you, when you go to your home page here, you'll notice under February 23rd right here that there is not a clock, there's no time. But normally, when you're working in ALEKS, you'll know how long you've been spending because it will say it down over here. So you won't see that until Sunday or Monday. So starting on Monday, the second week of class, you'll see that there will be a timer here. All right, now if we go back here, if we click on Gradebook, Gradebook shows you what your grade would be for homework if you don't do any more. So the homework's due February 23rd, and if this person doesn't do any more problems, that's the grade that will transfer to your Canvas gradebook. So this is not where to go to see your grade in my class. This is just where you could see what your overall grade is for the problems that you're doing. All right, if we go back to our tab bar here, the next thing is if you want to order a textbook for this class, you do not need it, but if you decide you want it, you click on order printed version and it's $15 and they'll mail it to your house. But here is what you'll have access to if you need it. This is the textbook for this class, so you can read through it, you can find sections that you need, search through it, so that is available to you. All right, now if we go back to the home page, so we click ALEKS, we go back here, when you started this ALEKS, you had to take a test where the ALEKS assessed what you need to know. That's going to happen periodically throughout the class. It's like a quiz. ALEKS wants to see what do you remember. So if you want to know how long or how much until you get your own quiz, you click over here at this little guy, and when you click on it, it says once the student has done 18 more topics and spent 3 hours and 52 minutes, they're going to get a quiz. They take the quiz, and based on how they do on the quiz, this pie chart might change. If they do really well, it might show more colors, and you might notice that this number goes up, and that's good. If you don't do good, it's going to show I don't remember stuff I did last week, and you might have this number go down and you might have to redo those problems.